Welcome to Nightique. I'm Edward St. Pé. Well, Tony Pasko is the writer of the music that you hear on Duck Dynasty. He lives right here in Meridian. Now, he's been on our show a couple of times. We've got him back tonight. Tonight, he introduces a protege of his, a young lady named Anna Blair. And she's a singer-songwriter, which he is working with in the studio. We're going to meet Anna Blair and Tony Pasko next.
Since 1849, Carter Jewelers has been a part of Jackson's rich history. Over 163 years later, we've not only survived, Carter Jewelers has flourished. From generation to generation, we've established a tradition of excellence. Our reputation is built on customer satisfaction, service, and trust. Every piece of jewelry is hand-picked, so you know you're getting the best value.
Nobody says I do like we do at Carter Jewelers.
Come see us and be part of our history.
Ingalls Shipbuilding is hiring electricians, structural welders, machinists, ship fitters, pipe fitters, and pipe welders in our Pascagoula, Mississippi site. Signing bonuses available for pipe welders only. Positions are union represented. Come build your career with Ingalls Shipbuilding. Go to www.huntingtoningalls.com/careers or call 888-935-1507. Well, we're with Mr. Tony Pasko. Thank you for coming, Tony.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you again.
Appreciate it.
Okay, now, Tony, this is your third appearance on Nightique.
Yeah.
You've become a regular, one of our regulars.
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Now, the wonderful thing that you've accomplished is you, from Mississippi, as a base of operations, you have your music on one of the most popular television shows on TV today, Duck Dynasty.
Yes.
And let's talk a little bit about that again. How did that occur in the first place?
Well, it was through my record label, and I was actually, when I got signed to the label, I was going to record a record and put out my, my own music. And as I was sending in tracks to my label, they were full production tracks, and I had every intention of going into a studio, working with musicians on the final, the recordings. But I was doing demos and trying to figure out what I wanted, and so I was sending these full production recordings out of my little studio to the record company, and then they came to me and said, we know some guys that are working television. They're always looking for tracks for TV shows. Are you doing all this yourself? And I said, oh yeah, this is what I do, kind of thing. And they said, well, why don't you send some tracks? We'll forward them to the production company and just kind of see. They have this new show, and they told me it was a hunting show, so I had no idea.
Sounds like Duck Dynasty sounds like a hunting show.
You would think, right? And they said that where it's being filmed is not far from where you live, so they want local music. So wherever send us tracks from where you live. And I was like, okay. So I sent them blues and bluegrass and all kind of country and all kinds of stuff. And then I didn't hear anything back, so I figured, well, they probably weren't very good because I've never done that before. And then they contacted me and said, they love those tracks. They need more, though. So I was like, okay. So I recorded more, and I sent those in. And then they came back and said, well, A&E just picked up this show, this Duck Dynasty, which I never heard of. And they're like, well, your music's all over it, so we suggest you better start watching it. It's going to be on A&E Wednesday nights. Start watching the show because, you're on it. And I was like, great. And I go, and that's money? And they're like, of course. I'm like, great. Okay, cool. So my record, of course, came out, but it went nowhere because all the excitement and everything went for the TV show, and it was great. And of course, Duck Dynasty blew up to be the #1 reality show on TV. The season 4 premiere got 11.8 million viewers, and we broke a cable record for the most watched reality show in history. And I had a bunch of music on that episode and all the ones since, of course. But and now we're in season 8. We just started season 8 of Duck Dynasty. So
and you're still there with them, right?
We're rolling right along.
Okay, now here is a question. Now from that, you've been able to produce music for other shows, right?
Yeah, that one show, of course, grew when you have millions of people watching it. Of course, thank God people were paying attention to the music and were asking us to do other stuff. So of course that grew into Shark Week, that grew into the Wahlburgers TV show, Lockup, Pipples and Parolees, Auction Hunters, there's a bunch of, I always forget, Hollywood Hillbillies and.
So you were a musician, what we would call just a normal musician.
Yeah.
And now you're a television music writer, I guess. You've kind of segued into that.
I have.
You have.
Yeah. It's fun. It wasn't anything I pursued. But I'm pursuing it now, of course, and I'm very happy. The shift, of course, happens where, especially with TV, with a half-hour show, they play a lot. There's a lot of music that goes on in these shows, and what I.
Well, right, it's all throughout the show.
Oh yeah, you're always hearing a little something.
Yeah, and, it's
quirky
so,
or even a little.
It's so subliminal that a lot of times, you'll be watching the show and you don't even realize there's music under the dialogue, but there is.
And that's okay.
And it punctuates the dialogue.
And that's it, and that's exactly right. And what I found out real quick, and what I learned, maybe I had a little bit of a knack for, was when you don't notice the music means that it's working.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people say, well, I never noticed that the music in the background.
People are waiting for a song to start.
Yeah, no,
but
it's just supposed to emphasize whatever emotion or whatever the dialogue. It's a supporting thing.
Right.
And I'm happy to be that.
Okay, so now you've expanded into television writing. Now, as a producer and as a creator of music and as a writer, and I'm sure from time to time your mind thinks in terms of developing an artist or working with other artists, correct?
Yeah.
Does that ever cross your mind?
Of course it does, especially now because I'm getting older, and what happened for me when I was coming up, I should back up just a little bit. My dad was a professional musician, and he used to always give me a shot. Mm-hmm. And I used to sit in with his band, and I remember practicing and learning the songs they wanted to play, and I knew everything note for note because I wanted to be a part of whatever my dad was doing at that time. And so I loved it from that aspect of, trying to get in and do it. So I remember now I was able, with the TV thing and having records out and performing, I have this platform now where I can pay it forward like my dad did and help me and my buddies out when we had bands, and he would have my band open for him at some function. And that's, as a musician, you kind of have to do that at some point in time. When you have a career, especially if you want any kind of long-standing career in the entertainment industry or music industry, you kind of have to know what stage you're in. And then there's nothing more pathetic and really sad than an aging rock star that doesn't know his age. You know what I mean? You always look at people and you're like, oh, wow.
Although there are folks like that, like Willie Nelson, who sort of defy that stereotype.
But he knows where he's at
That's
today.
True.
You know what I mean? Some of them,
he's aged.
If you allow yourself to age.
I was going to say gracefully, maybe not exactly gracefully, but he's aged accordingly.
Well, and he's allowed himself to age, and he has no problem letting the next generation kind of come in. He's still a wonderful musician,
he's
a great
still as
writer.
hip as he can be.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, and it's a win-win for him, and that's what I found when I have this plateau, and I would bring kids out with me that I saw that had some talent and maybe just needed a little bit of guidance or something.
Okay.
I'd bring them out on stage with me.
All right, so now let's talk about a particular artist.
Yes.
Anna Blair.
Anna Blair.
Okay, let's talk about her.
Anna Blair Petty. She was, how this came about is actually a really cool story. Her dad is my dentist. And, he would always tell me, oh, Anna Blair's playing piano, and she's learned how to write songs. And I was like, oh, okay, that's great. And then this thing happened with me, and I had an opportunity to have a gig come in, and her dad had contacted me and said, I'd like for her to record some of her songs. She's been writing songs. She's been kind of working on her own thing, and I'd like for her to kind of come in, and maybe you could record some of her songs. And I was like, okay, that sounds fine. Have her come in. I'm not necessarily like an audition, but I got to hear the songs. Let me hear what she's doing. And she did. She came in and she performed a couple of her songs. And what I noticed right away, the first thing that really impressed me was she wasn't trying to be Taylor Swift or anyone else. You know what I mean? She just kind of had this like sense of self. She came in, here's what I do, here's how I sing, here's the songs that I wrote, and she's an excellent lyricist when it comes to the best lyrics are always the simplest ones. My dad was a great Christian songwriter, and I was always admired how he could get to a point or paint a picture with just a couple of words, and she has that same similar talent where she a lot of people have a hard time expressing what they're feeling, and she just is one of these people that just gets it out. It's in the simplest way, and you get the point.
So she is how old?
Well, she's 18 now, but yeah, this was when she was 17.
No.
She played me the song when she said, "Oh, I wrote this when I was 14." And you would think a 30-year-old wrote it.
And she happens to be here with you tonight on Nightique.
She is here.
So
today.
we're going to meet her, and we're also going to hear a performance.
We're going to do a couple of songs, couple of cover songs, and the reason why we're going to do these particular songs because she has an EP that we're working on together that'll be out, plus a couple of videos that she has done that we're going to come out with. But the one thing that always for me, it's hard for a new artist to come out and get people to really listen to an original song. But if you can make a song they've heard, give it a spin and make it your own, then people really get excited. Oh wow, look at how she did it. And when she came in, one of the first songs she played me was this version of Jolene that she does on ukulele, which I've never heard. And she made it completely her own.
So you're going to do that tonight?
We're going to do that for you.
Okay, we're going to take a break. We're going to be back, and we're going to meet Anna Blair, and then the performance of that song and one more. Stay tuned. You're watching Nightique.
Bengal presents From One Legend to Another.
When I moved down south, I was not prepared for these insects and pests. I'm so glad my neighbor recommended Bengal. Now I could spend time doing more of what I love.
People trust Bengal Products' legendary performance for insect problems in and around the house. Bengal products really work.
Using Bengal gives me more time with the love of my life, Mr. Snuggle Muffins.
When you are looking to further your education, there's only one university that towers above the rest, Jackson State University. Jackson State University is one of the leading universities in research, technology, and innovation, graduating more than 1,300 students annually and a consistent growth in revenue. Jackson State University is ranked #1 amongst the HBCUs in research and development. Make the right choice, the one choice, one Jackson State University, changing lives one student at a time.
Okay, Anna Blair,
Yes.
welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
So you are 18. And
I am.
You are a songwriter and a singer, right?
I am. I am a songwriter, I'm a singer and musician. So.
And at 18, so at what
At
point
18.
did you discover music, and at what point do you think it got to you where you thought you wanted to possibly pursue this?
Well, I actually, when I was about 4 years old, my dad took me to Meridian Symphony Orchestra, and I remember sitting there and watching this pianist, who was a classical pianist, unbelievable, and that's when I knew that this is what I meant to do, that I want to play piano. And so, of course, at 4 years old, you can't take piano lessons, so when babysitters would come over, I'd ask them to teach me something, and I'd practice, and I drove my parents crazy with the same tune over and over. And at 5, I got to take formal piano lessons, and that continued. And my mom always played classical music around the house. I never really knew of any other artist or anything else truly existed except for maybe Mozart or Bach. And at the age of 10, my mom bought a Faith Hill and Tim McGraw CD, and we played it all the time in the car. Mississippi Girl was what I sang karaoke to all the time. And that's when I started, not only, I was writing before classical on the piano, but then I started adding lyrics, and it just became a way of me coping with different things and feeling better about certain situations rather than talking up with someone else.
How important is it to, as an artist, do you think, to be a writer, a songwriter, as well as a performer?
I think songwriting is one of the best ways to just share your feelings out there rather than just going out there and performing, because the best songs, in my opinion, are the ones that tell a story and that are smart lyrics, because you can say the same things over and over again and everyone's like, okay, I get it. But the songs, for example, like Ed Sheeran he can write a love song better than anyone else I've ever heard, because he can touch a place in your heart that you can't express with words. And so with a performance, I try to look into that aspect as well.
So out on the scene today, who are your favorite artists?
I'd have to say the ones I look up to and I have on my iPod is Faith Hill, Adele, Taylor Swift, and Ed Sheeran are probably my top 4 that I go to for inspiration.
So what do you think of Taylor Swift? The situation with Apple where she pulled her music from their new music streaming service, and then they said, okay, sorry, we are going to give you the royalties, and they changed their whole methodology as a result of that. What do you think of that?
I think that's so fantastic that she took a stand for other artists, because she can pay her crew. She has such a good foundation, and she kind of went, this isn't fair for everyone else, and that's a good role model for someone that will take charge and help other artists out achieve their dreams, just as other people have helped her.
So when we come back from the break, you're going to play a couple of songs. Tony is going to accompany you, and you're going to sing and play. What songs are you going to do?
I'm going to do a cover of Jolene that I've done on ukulele, and it actually got to be played in Sydney, Australia on the radio, so that was so exciting for me. And then we did a cover of Susie Q, which is a lot of fun to do too.
And Dolly Parton wrote Jolie, I think, originally. And so what do you think of her?
Oh, I think she's fantastic. I've listened to her music for years, and I think she's great. She's a great performer. She's definitely someone to look up to for a good lyrics.
And you know, thinking about her, she was a female songwriter and performer way back.
She was.
I can remember back during those times, you know, especially in country music, there were not that many female songwriters
that
you can think of. And she was not only a great performer, but really a great writer.
And she's very confident, which is a key that a lot of people in this business need, because if you're not confident on stage, then no one's really going to pay attention to you. But she goes up there and she knows what she's meant to do. She knows what she's best at, and I think that's fantastic.
Okay, what about confidence? How does one gain confidence as a performer so that when you go out you can feel confident on the stage?
I've been involved in theater since I was 6 years old, and one of the things my directors always taught me is that when you go on stage, you're not yourself, you're a character. So I portray that as being comfortable. I'm already comfortable on stage because I've done it for 12 years. So when I go on stage, I kind of use that method as I am myself, but it's kind of reverse psychology, if that makes sense. So I feel absolutely, when I go on stage, I know I'm a performer, this is what I'm meant to do, and
so you sort of like you basically become a different person almost.
Kind of. It's the performer side of me that comes out. Then it's not like I don't feel like Anna Blair and I'm freaking out in front of everyone. This is a performer.
This is a performer, right? Okay. Well, Anna Blair will perform after this message. Stay tuned.
When you are looking to further your education, there's only one university that towers above the rest, Jackson State University. Jackson State University is one of the leading universities in research, technology, and innovation, graduating more than 1,300 students annually and a consistent growth in revenue. Jackson State University is ranked #1 amongst the HBCUs in research and development. Make the right choice, the one choice, one Jackson State University, changing lives one student at a time.
Bengal presents From One Legend to Another.
Good day. I must say I've deduced that Bengal roach spray is a superior product. It's kept all traces of those vile creatures from my home. Which lets me focus on more meaningful pursuits.
People trust Bengal Roach Spray's legendary performance. No odor, no mess, no roaches. Bengal Roach Spray really works.
With Bengal, I love having a little more me time.
I'm Anna Blair Petty, and this is Tony Pasko, and this song we're about to do is Susie Q. Oh, Susie Q. Oh, Susie Q. Oh, Susie Q. Baby, I love you, my Susie. I like the way you walk. I like the way you talk. I like the way you walk. Oh, I like the way you talk, my Susie. Susie Q. Oh, Susie Q. Say that you'll be true. Say that you'll be true, and I'll never leave you, my Susie. Oh, Susie Q. Oh, Susie Q. Oh, Susie Q. Baby, I love you, my Susie. Oh, Susie Q. Baby, I love you, my Susie Q.
Since 1849, Carter Jewelers has been a part of Jackson's rich history. Over 163 years later, we've not only survived, Carter Jewelers has flourished. From generation to generation, we've established a tradition of excellence. Our reputation is built on customer satisfaction, service, and trust. Every piece of jewelry is handpicked, so you know you're getting the best value.
Nobody says I do like we do at Carter Jewelers.
Come see us and be part of our history.
This next song we're about to do is my cover of Jolene. I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 please don't take him even though you can. Your beauty is beyond compare, flaming locks of auburn hair with ivory skin and eyes of emerald green. Your smile is like a breath of spring, your skin is soft like summer rain, and I cannot compete with you, Jolene. And I can easily understand how you could easily take my man, but you don't know what he means to me, Jolene. He talks about you in his sleep. There's nothing I can do to keep from crying when he calls your name, Jolene. Oh, Jolene, 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 Jolene. Oh, I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 please don't take him even though you can. I had to have this talk with you, my happiness depends on you, whatever you decide to do, Jolene. And you can have your choice of men, but I could never love again, 'cause he's the only one for me, Jolene. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Oh, I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Oh, Jolene, 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 Jolene.
Since 1849, Carter Jewelers has been a part of Jackson's rich history. Over 163 years later, we've not only survived, Carter Jewelers has flourished. From generation to generation, we've established a tradition of excellence. Our reputation is built on customer satisfaction, service, and trust. Every piece of jewelry is handpicked, so you know you're getting the best value.
Nobody says I do like we do at Carter Jewelers.
Come see us and be part of our history.
Ingalls Shipbuilding is hiring electricians, structural welders, machinists, ship fitters, pipe fitters, and pipe welders in our Pascagoula, Mississippi site. Signing bonuses available for pipe welders only. Positions are union represented. Come build your career with Ingalls Shipbuilding. Go to www.huntingtoningalls.com/careers or call 888-935-1507. Well, I'd like to thank Anna Blair and Tony Pasko for being with us tonight. It just goes to show you with music from Duck Dynasty coming from right here in Meridian, Mississippi, and artists like Anna Blair coming up. Our musical fountainhead is seemingly endless here in Mississippi with great talent. Anyway, take a look at our website, Nightique.com. All of our shows are archived there. I'll see you next time on Nightique.